Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of the US3 podcast. Now it's a slightly different episode today because there's four of us. No one here is on the TV behind us. And there are three Man United fans sitting next to me. We're joined by Tommy Gorman from the S10 football podcast.
Hello mate, how are we?
And Henry Cowling from the United District podcast.
This is the biggest collaboration.
Yeah, this is massive. That's huge, by the way.
You're actually the smallest podcast in the room.
We actually are, so thanks for coming on. We really appreciate it. We'll pay you later.
It'll be quite long because there's no Josh Bailey today. So we're actually there's a reason we've got these two lads on, so I obviously include myself as a United fan there, but we're doing a United themed podcast. So basically, a few weeks ago we kind of betted ourselves out and we said we were ending on the Super League and it said to be continued, so class this as your continued podcast.
You clickbaiting your audience, sure.
Not
another one.
So no, we basically ended on the Super League because we filmed it on the Monday when the Super League came out, and then obviously by the time the next weekend came, it had gone. Yeah. So there was nothing to talk about.
And it's gone.
It had gone. But so we're just here to talk about like the Glazers stuff really, and everything to do with United.
Because all three of you went to the protest.
We did.
None of you went on the pitch though.
We were good boys.
All good, peacefully protesting. I guess if we start off with like the Super League, because obviously this is all where it's come from. Actually, no. How much do you hate the Glazers? Each and every one of you. Anyone who goes first.
What's
your sort of hatred towards shaking? Like,
I'm not sure this is fit for camera, to be honest.
Okay. Actually that's true. On a scale of like, I said 1 to 10, it's obviously going to be 10. But like, what are your feelings, potentially PG, towards
I don't have to be PG.
What, my dad?
Pete Gorman. Shout out Pete Gorman.
Yeah, Pete Gorman. Henry, how do you feel towards the Glazers?
Just can't bear them, mate.
No.
Just can't bear them. Like, I don't know. There's so many different things, isn't there? I mean, these two will know as well. You know, all the stats that get flown about, the money that's been taken out of the club. Obviously, the way they bought the club originally was pretty poor. You know, obviously leveraged buyout, so they didn't have the money themselves. They took out loans to actually end up buying the club, and then a club that had never had debt before, obviously had debt put onto it straight away, which is, you know, straight away that angered fans. And obviously they tried to stop it and obviously couldn't do so, couldn't get it together. Since then, there's been loads of things. I mean, recruitment has been poor for the most part, especially since Fergie's gone. I think for a while, you know, Fergie was sort of papering over the cracks, really. Old Trafford needs big reinvestment.
That's my big thing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things, really. I think you could sit here all day, really, and list all the things off. But yeah,
I think Neville summed it up, didn't he, when he said it's been simmering for a long time, and it's always been there, and there's been waves of it. I remember just before the lockdown, we were about to walk out, weren't we, when they signed Fernandes. It was Fernandes' debut. But then I think going back to the Super League was the thing that sparked it and was the thing that brought it back. And as a United fan myself, having my club not just be involved in the Super League, but involved in the creation and orchestrating it. That was what angered me the most. I think the fact that, you know, I've always had the issue with the recruitment, I've always had the issue with the players, and I've always had the issue with the stadium falling apart now. But
That's my big one.
Yeah.
Because to me, like, recruitment is neither in or there. I don't want to be when it rains in the south stand. I don't want to get wet.
Yeah.
That's literally it for me.
But he's rusted.
Obviously, it's not. That's not it. But you know what I mean.
You're protesting for like hours on end. I don't want to get soaked, Joe. I don't want to get soaked, man.
You know what? If they fix the south stand roof, I might feel differently.
Pleasure's in. Fantastic ownership.
That's getting clipped up.
It is.
I'm not well. Actually, I'm a Leeds fan, so I don't really have.
Yeah,
you're in enemy territory.
No,
today.
I think it's mainly because of what they tried to do with the Super League. It would have ruined football massively. Do you think, like, if the Super League hadn't been proposed, you would have been protesting like this? Because obviously, when you protested, the Super League was done and dusted.
Yeah.
It's meant to go ahead again on Thursday, another protest. Do you think if the Super League hadn't have happened, you would have just sort of just not had another protest?
I think they kind of just been kicked down the road again, basically.
Yeah,
I think it'd have been, we'll protest when this happens. But when the Super League thing happened, everyone sort of went, well, now we've actually got to do something.
Yeah.
So
it gave us a reason to, didn't it? Because before, like I say, it was simmering. It was always there. The anti-Glazers thing has been there since, for as long as I can remember, 2005, the first protest.
Yeah, 2005.
You know, for as long as I can remember, they've always been there. But like you say, they kicked the can down the road again, and it was that was what sparked it. But we'll see it again. End of the season will come and it'll be all forgotten about, and they'll sign someone in the summer and appease all the fans, and the casuals will go. You'll still have that hardcore fan base that'll hate the Glazers, you know, ourselves. But the casuals will forget about it and it'll simmer again. And some big in 5 years' time will spark it off again, and the same thing will happen.
Well, you've already seen the divide in sort of. I don't want to stereotype it in this way, but it is generally true.
Yeah.
That the ones who've never been within 100 miles of Old Trafford will be happy with the Glazers if they sign Sancho or
yeah.
Bale.
Kane or whatever
Bale.
it
Is it 2015 again?
We're getting Schneider back in. Let's get Schneider.
Nicholas Gaitan.
Oh, Garay.
But they'll be happy if we sign. They're not bothered about the roof leaking or the infrastructure of the training ground. All they care about is who we sign and what we win.
Well, if you compare it to our neighbours, you only have to look across the other side of the city. Look at the city where they've gone now. Etihad, right? Did they won it for the Olympics?
No, Commonwealth Games.
Commonwealth Games, that was it, yeah. So they had the stadium for the Commonwealth Games built. So it's a relatively new stadium. So I haven't got the cracks that United have got. But round it, they've built an empire.
Yeah.
They've built they're going to get the station going into it.
They built an empire with an Asda in the middle.
Well,
come on now.
No, this may sound like, I don't know, like fickle or someone who's not really sort of involved in it. But like, I know you say like the whole ground is kind of falling apart. But isn't that... I sort of have a problem with modern stadiums, like the bowl-shaped ones.
I do.
Like the Etihad, like you're saying, it's a great complex, it's great. I would probably rather have Old Trafford because it's a proper stadium.
Yeah, but it still needs revamping on the inside. I get it, like a traditional from the outside, but I think we all love Old Trafford. Never want to see it knocked down or anything like that.
Never
or even rehauled outside. I like see it. I like what it is, but I think there's some.
It needs a fresh coat of paint on it every now and
Yeah,
again. That's what it needs. We're not asking for it to be knocked down and rebuilt like the Spurs stadium.
Even up until a couple of years ago, the Munich clock by the East Stand, that was falling to bits until they had to redo it about 2 years ago maybe.
Yeah.
But before that was like falling to bits, and that's like the main part of the club's history virtually.
How long is this sort of hatred against the Glazers? Because when I'm speaking to like people about it who aren't United fans, they were like, when they were winning with Fergie, they weren't complaining. But like you've said, you were. How long has this sort of been going on for? Obviously, you would have been a lot younger at the time.
I think it's been since they bought the club, really, and obviously it flared back up in sort of 2010, 2011
Before
time.
Tottenham at home won it when it all kicked off by the megastore.
Yeah. I don't know. Do you know what was it that sparked it in that particular occasion?
Well, it came out that
with Ronaldo money being...
it was either Ronaldo money being spent on Obertan and Valencia. Valencia. Shout out the family that sit two rows behind me.
Just shouting them out.
I'm gonna have to explain this now. The family who sit a couple of rows behind me. There's Old Trafford. There's this granddad who's been going for must be 70 years, and he used to have a few years back. He used to have like 3 hate figures. Carrick, move the ball, Carrick. Smalling. Forward Smalling, and this is the one. Valencia used to play like right wing, so that's in front of us. We're at like the east stand end of the south, and every time Valencia would smash the ball against someone's shins and it go out for a throw in, he'd go Valencia.
Great commentary on that, dude.
Unreal. Valencia.
Did you ever do it if he like shot or anything, or like he scored? Because
Yes, God, we will.
Valencia. A commentary over the top of it would have been unreal.
But yeah, back to the
Sorry.
the whole I've had to digress there.
That's the Glazers.
Yeah, back to them. So obviously in 2010 it came out that they'd been spending the Ronaldo money on that, and also I think the figures got released as to what they were paying themselves, and at the time they were taking out about 70 million a season in dividends to pay themselves.
Yeah.
Aren't we the only club that gives dividends to its owners?
Is it an Arsenal?
I think one other club did it.
I think
it was
it's
a one-time payment.
No.
I think West Brom. West Brom did a one-time payment to their.
But it's ridiculous. Like I hate the argument that's Match of the Day meant. Match of the Day said, look at the net spend we spent from and I hate that because how dare we spend our money?
Exactly.
How dare we spend the money we make?
Yeah.
Like United are one of the most generate the most money in the world.
Yeah,
so,
commercial.
Commercially. So as a club, we could probably float on our. If our owners walked away tomorrow, we'd survive.
No, yeah.
However, if Chelsea's owners walked away tomorrow, done.
If we didn't have an owner tomorrow, we'd survive.
We'd survive. Yeah, then that's what I mean. United could live off their own backs with their own money, and that's why I hate that argument because. The money, the Glazers there are supposed to run the club and supposed to invest money into the club. They don't invest any money into the club. They just take our money from the club and use it.
Me and you have put more into Manchester United than they have.
Probably have, Probably have.
Well,
so you are probably the one of the biggest worldwide footballing
Yeah.
names.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
when
yeah.
you go abroad on holiday, whatever, everyone's
Yeah.
Man United, wherever.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Real
You
Madrid, Barca.
Don't really
Yeah.
get that with Leeds at the moment. Yeah, well, there'll come a time.
Hey, when we sign Rafinha off, yeah.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I was thinking about that today. If that happens, Glazers well and truly out.
You have to spend money first.
No, exactly, yeah,
First.
yeah.
You can get one a free transfer like Cavani, but
Um,
all it worked out. So.
Yeah.
I guess on like the protests and stuff, because you all went, was it Sunday,
Sunday,
the
yeah,
Liverpool game?
yeah.
Was the aim always to get it called off, or did you think going into like the protest that you would definitely get it called off? Because when you were talking about going, I was sort of thinking, they'll make a protest outside the stadium. Didn't envisage anyone going on the pitch. I just imagined the game getting played.
Well, what was the prediction that
Yeah,
I said to you?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you said, didn't there, rumours of, well, A, storming the direct spot,
Yeah.
and B, the one I found a bit funny, cutting the sky wire to stop the
Like they've got a
broadcast.
satellite, I've got a satellite. But
Snip the wire, that's it, copper gone, blackout.
No, but I did say there wouldn't be a game.
yeah, you
Yeah,
did,
you
yeah.
did, yeah.
I must admit, I went going thinking the same as you. It just didn't enter my mind that the game would get called off. Like it's just not something you envisage when you go for a protest that it's gonna get called off. But when we got there and I saw many people there, and you said, I said that this game will get played, and I thought actually, don't think it is going ahead.
Yeah.
And I've got a feeling it's gonna happen again Sunday.
Thursday.
Thursday, yeah. So obviously this podcast goes out on the Sunday to tomorrow. So on Thursday there is talks of the second protest when the United games be rearranged for the Thursday against Liverpool. And again, murmurs on Twitter have been coming out that same's going to happen again. Funny enough, timed by a Glazer letter that came out on the Friday.
Well.
What are your thoughts on that, lads? What are your thoughts on that letter? Because I know I have my thoughts on it.
Go on, Han.
It's just a load of rubbish, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
There's not much more to say than that. It's empty words. It's far too late as well. We've been waiting 16 years for this sort of communication, and it's half-hearted. You know what I mean? It's typed out. It's not personal. There's no video.
That's the thing with the Liverpool one, at least.
Yeah, the decent.
John Henry.
I know he was reading it off.
Yeah.
the
Quite couldn't tell what he was doing,
It did look like he was being held hostage.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
like-
Guy behind the cameras.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where we've seen it before. It's happened before. Like Ferdinand said it on BT, even before that letter had come out. When they first, the protest first happened with the club, he said, we're going to be communicating with him. We've not heard from him since. This is the first time we've heard from him since they've probably bought our club, and they've come out and said, and I agree with you, Gon, what you said yesterday. You said, if they'd have said, we'll do this by this deadline, or we'll have the stadium re-innovated by next year.
It was all far too vague as well.
Yeah.
But even then, I don't want them. I just don't care.
No, I don't. I think-
want
I know,
anything.
but-
But I'd be more inclined to give him a chance
So would I, yeah.
if there was a time scale.
The damage has been done, though, hasn't it? That's
Done.
They're
done.
It's one of those things where I don't know how they're coming back from it.
I rang my dad about this yesterday, and he was of the opinion that, well, you've got to give them a chance because they've said they're going to do this and it's progress and whatnot. And to an extent, I get his point, but I feel like it's just it's too far gone, and maybe it's the cynic in me, but I just think that letter, just absolutely reeked of, stop saying nasty words about me, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. Well, and also, it's funny how it came from a timing where the day before, all the murmurs came out about the protests on Thursday.
Yeah.
And so you thought, we'll come out and appease the casuals. Like, people will come out and say, all right, we'll give them a chance. But the hardcores will still remain the same. Again, it'll still simmer. And, we've only got, how many games left to end the season? 2, 3, 4? How many?
Four in the league and then the Europa final.
League, yeah. But it's like, once that's done, how do you carry it on when the season's finished?
Well, that's the thing. They said they're going to have that meeting after the final day of the season, but then you lose all the momentum, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. And for me, like I remember them saying, like Neville said, what's next after this protest, after the thing, and we do it again, but on Thursday. But then what happens after that? Because you
can't get every game called.
No, you can't. No, exactly. But it's one of those things. What
we
else
can give it a go.
Yeah, give it a go.
What would it take for them to actually do, like, sell up? Because realistically, you are coming to the point where it's the end of the season. If you get this next Liverpool game called off, Liverpool get a 3-0 win, you play out your remaining matches, then they have the chance to sort of win people back in the summer by buying
Signing
Sancho,
players.
potentially signing your likes of Kane or someone like
But
that.
I don't think that'll win back the people that they need to win back.
No, the
But
hardcore's
do
already
you,
gone.
do you think they can kind of
No,
survive?
but we say win back as well. They were never won over in the first
No,
place.
No.
Like
I know.
he makes his point of like rebuild the trust. The trust was never there.
Absolutely. Yeah. But
Yeah.
I think for them, like, the fact that they can just keep ticking over, because obviously, like, your hardcore fans that sort of would still hate them, but if like we talked about earlier, like the commercial kind of fans who just care about the big name players, do you think if they can get to the end of the season, get some big names in, start next season well, do you think, obviously you're not going to win them back because you're never there, but do you think that would be enough to tick them over? Because
especially if we win the Europa League,
majority of the sort of plastic United fans are on their side in giving the money, if you know what I mean.
No, I do know what you mean. I know what you mean. I think, but it's more like the physical side of things that's got to carry on, because I think, you know, you can boycott shirts and stuff like that, but it's not as...
It's hard to win fans out in the stadium.
Yeah.
You can send as many hashtags as you want.
Exactly. You've got to actually go there, do things,
and
be
that's
active.
what the Premier League statement said, didn't the Premier League statement said the fans have got their forums in which they can voice their opinions. No, we don't. We've voiced our opinions for 15 years. No one's...
They've got that fans forum, haven't they, that Joe Glazer's not been to for... since they started it.
I know. But it's like... they say that we've got these forums, but if you went on Twitter, they're just going to look at people who are idiots who are ranting on Twitter. You know, it's a similar thing to the abuse thing. You know, when people give abuse online, it could be hearkened to that, and people just won't listen to it because they just won't listen to it unless you're trying to give it in a constructive way, which no one is on Twitter. No one goes on way.
I think I'm relatively constructive on Twitter.
Maybe you should do this with the club and do this. But it's one of those things where, you know, like John says, the summer's going to come. They've got the chance to win back the casuals with buying players in, especially if we win the Europa League. For them, it's forgotten about, you know, and for us, it's going to continue to simmer. And unfortunately, they've rode waves like this before, and they've managed to survive. They won't care. They're sat at home in America.
I feel like this time it's a lot more impactful though, because of obviously fans aren't in the stadium,
of course,
but fans have managed to get into the stadium.
So
fans aren't paying in and then like hammering them from the stands. Like before, like the 2010 protest, I think we played Hull. And they brought like massive Love United, Hate Glazer, the whole Green and Gold Brigade was going on. But they were all paying 40 quid a ticket. And then, to them, they're laughing.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Because they don't care, they've got our money.
Yeah.
Whereas this time, they're not earning a penny off us, and we're making the point on national news. And
that's where the behind closed doors is kind of like a blessing in disguise, where you can. Because realistically, if the game was going ahead with fans in it, you'd have had fans going to the game, but also fans protesting at the same time. It wouldn't have had that same kind of impact.
Unless the entire first tier of all four stands went on the pitch.
No,
the players did something.
Or you will walk out or something like that. But I do agree, like, protesting peacefully is the only way that you can get to them. A social media storm of like Twitter like abuse, if you're at them, they're literally not going to care. That's the thing.
What did you lot do for like Bates and Chilino? And
we had like, to be fair, with Chilino, I think they one of the trusts, they like projected a hate message, get out Chilino, on like the side of the stand or something like that.
I think I remember.
And Chilino like banned the Sky cameras from coming into one of the games, but then he let them in the end. We had like a mini funeral outside Ellen Road once to reminisce the death of the club, but nothing on the levels of nothing on the I was gonna say nothing on the levels of this, because as much as they were dickheads of owners, it hasn't lasted as long as this, and we've now got a decent owner now. And it's just, I don't know, it's just a weird situation. On Sunday, what was the atmosphere like for people who haven't seen videos, for people who weren't there? What was it like on Sunday? Actually just going back to the ground.
That was the best.
Seeing it again. I'm sure it would have been many people's first time back again. So what was it like on Sunday?
I think it was a good atmosphere, really. You had the odd little bit of, you know, aggro and...
That's been focused on in the news.
No, it's been focused on far too much.
And the police instigated that, by the way.
Yeah, they did, because apparently they had a child, allegedly had a child pinned down, which is why everyone with the bottle started getting
That was
thrown.
by the Lowry, wasn't it? There's like 4-on-1 or something. I think I've seen that video.
So and there's obviously, we've seen the idiot throwing the camera, and we
our mate from outside the East Stand.
I know. Yeah, when we got there at about 12:30, we obviously he was there, and we saw him, and there was a Do you want to tell?
No. We got to town at like 12, didn't we?
Just sort of talk us through the day. In a sense,
so well, we got train down, didn't we, boys? At what time we leave here? About 10 in the morning, and got the train down from Sheffield. And
Carwyn had a very disappointing showing of drinking on the train. He only managed one in an hour.
I saw your tweet. It was like,
you weren't much better, by the way.
I got through 3 of them.
Mine were pint cans, by the way. Just put that out.
say,
Here we
you're
go.
the local sort of like Carlsberg like pint
Yeah.
cream. I
Yeah.
saw you
The
tweet
one.
that. I saw some people reply like poor drink choice. Like, I just love them out of can, mate. I love them out of can.
This is a man who thinks that that's better than Peroni, by the way.
No. For any fans of the
Exposed,
S10 podcast
exposed.
coming over here, I have changed my opinion massively. I had a Peroni for the first time a couple of months ago, and it was beautiful.
Flip flop.
Yeah.
Flip
Yeah,
flop.
so we got the train down, didn't we? And then we obviously just got in, met your mate from home, didn't we? He was a United fan as well. And then
Got rained on outside of Spoons.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, it was awful. Yeah, we went for a few-
You having to stand up under that umbrella because you were getting dripped on.
Yeah. I was just not under the umbrella at all. I was just sat in the rain.
Me and Will were loving that.
My chip bowl just filled up with water by the end of it. But yeah, then we went to stay. That was, like we say, that was the best bit. Just going back to Old Trafford,
Yeah,
and
it
having
was.
that walk down, it was meant. I just
Actually,
missed it.
my favourite bit of the day was seeing that lad with the corner flag walking up Busby Way afterwards.
Yeah. I wonder what's happened to. I wonder if anything.
Oh, it's defo on eBay, surely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
someone
probably,
he
yeah.
could have nicked it. Surely, I was gonna say because it sort of moved its way further out of Old Trafford, didn't it?
Yeah, it was at the top of Busby Way by
Yeah,
the
it was, yeah.
Macara Shippy, wasn't it?
I wonder if that bloke's been done who's thrown the
Well,
cameras.
he said only one person got arrested, and it was someone at the Lowry, wasn't it? So I
Yeah.
don't know if he's
Must have
been-
been.
Well, that was the one on that video.
Yeah,
Surely
yeah.
he's everywhere. It's
I
the
know.
guy
I
who's
say the guy's face is
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
everywhere.
individual we're talking about was
Oh,
rude.
sorry. My dad called me. Think Bottleman Hotspur. It's what he just texted me. I won't go into that one, but just in case we angry.
I was about to say good afternoon, Josh. Then I realised it doesn't even watch your own thing, does it?
No. No, it don't. So yeah,
Our mate by the East Stand who did he start on like a 15-year-old?
who was wearing the black and white shirt from this year because he said you're just as bad as them buying this season's kit. I mean,
To
like,
be fair,
he's a
it is
15-year-old
as bad as them, but only for buying the zebra one.
Yeah, yeah.
Because that is an absolute abomination
I
of
don't
football
like
kit.
it.
It's
I've seen people
horrible.
like it.
I don't mind
He's got with
it.
zebra trousers on.
Yeah, trousers.
He had some
I've seen
what
that.
was it like cow or zebra
Yeah,
trousers?
zebra trousers on the pitch.
Yeah,
Yeah,
what do you have on the back? He had like Fernandez the goat or something printed awfully, like all squeezed in. It was something like that.
it's that photo of him pointing at Graham Souness on the gantry, isn't there?
Have you seen that video of them going up to Keane,
Yeah.
Carragher, Neville? It's like, no, Carragher, you scout. I'm gonna say it.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Family show.
But
Yeah, of
what
course,
what
yeah.
do you think? 'Cause obviously, when we left the protest, we went back to and watched the Sky coverage of it. Souness made some comments. What are your lads' thoughts on the Souness comments?
It's just so hypocritical, isn't it? Especially when you think of like, I know everyone was talking about it back in the day, when he was Galatasaray. He was
Yeah.
Galatasaray manager, wasn't he?
Yeah,
Went to
black
Fenerbahce.
pitch,
Oh, Fenerbahce.
black down in the
Put a
middle
corner
of
flag in
the
the
pitch,
centre. So, it wasn't a corner flag, it put a flag down in the centre.
That was a bigger incitement of violence than anything
Yeah.
any United
Yeah.
fan.
especially
Yeah.
with like the tension between those clubs, like massive.
It's terrible, isn't it,
Yeah.
over there in
Yeah.
Turkey? But
What else did he say?
he said that we only protest because we're not successful anymore,
Interesting.
which is ridiculous. Because
Where was he then in
in
2010?
2010, yeah, I know. We'd literally come off the back of 2 Champions League
Yeah.
finals and won the league that year
Yeah.
before. It's ridiculous, and what else? He said something else as well about it was just at the Beanie's point, didn't he? He said something about
nearly getting hit in the head by a pint can. It could have killed him.
Yeah, it could, and the Grealish thing.
Could have
but
been
then he went
killed.
off on the
Could have been
Grealish thing as well.
No, a pint can getting thrown probably 40 yards upwards
Yeah.
up the stand.
Yeah.
But then the flare burnt the hole in the thing, and he had a big
Yeah, burnt a hole in the tarpole.
Yeah.
Terrible throw, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Nowhere near him.
Yeah, but
No,
he
the guy who shouted, "Yeah, Mika, we like you."
Yeah. Think
Yeah.
if you're alright, Neville. You can see Neville's just like, I don't want to shake your hand, mate. But
Yeah, I know.
we'll do it anyway. Because he made some comments, didn't he, Gary Neville? Because was it Dave Jones? Obviously, it's not his, like, Sky are obviously telling him to sort of
Well,
tell Gary Neville what.
they did the same thing on the racism thing, didn't they?
Yeah,
when
he was like, it's not
Tottenham
my view,
Chelsea,
but-
yeah.
Yeah.
Dave Jones got people in his ear, and
I was going to say, no, yeah, he's
But
got
the
people in his
issue
ear,
I had with it was Sky were all for this anti Super League thing with the protests of Chelsea and Arsenal, but then when it affects their precious Super Sunday and it affects their pockets, that's when when it's almost like these bad guys and these bad guys in this situation. There's the owners, and then there's the
idea of Sky Sports presenting themselves as the good guys is absolutely hilarious.
These bad
by
guys
the
and
way.
bad guys. The Sky again. It's about when it's affecting them for the worse. They're going to be against it, which is like the Super Sunday thing. It cost them money, so they were against it. Like you said, Dave Jones has probably had someone in the ear telling him to go against it, but it's just
Well, Sky everyone forgets as well. Sky orchestrated the Premier League, which is where all this comes from.
I was
If
gonna
there's,
say, when-
if there's no Premier
yeah.
League, then there's no Super League that comes
When
from
the
it.
Super League was on, that's what you were saying, wasn't it? It was like Sky sort of started this whole commercial.
Gravy train off.
But it's
Yeah.
what do you expect? You've invited the Glazers, you've invited Kroenke, I forget Liverpool's owner's name.
John Henry.
You've put John Henry.
Yeah.
You've invited them all to the table. You've invited the Sharks to the table. Abramovich, you've invited them all to the table. What do you expect? They're going to try and leave at some point, aren't they?
Yeah.
You've got them all together. You've brought all the bad guys together. What do you
Yeah,
expect? They're all in it for the money. They're all businessmen. So when they came and said, "Oh, we want to break away and make a Super League and make more money," what did you expect?
Yeah.
You've invited all the big boys to the table to make money, to make more money, and you think they're not going to go stab you in the back and make even more money? Ridiculous.
Well, it's just the nature of capitalism, isn't it?
Yeah.
Everyone wants more money,
literally. And
no matter how much you've got.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say the idea, the intentions of the Super League wasn't to progress the club. It was literally
Well,
more
to make
money.
the club more valuable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Which I can't. Are they in debt or is it like the club's in debt? Because
They bought the club with money. They bought the club
with
money that the club would generate in future.
Yeah.
So I think they borrowed 700 million.
Yeah,
And they only bought the club for like 880. I say only 880 million, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So they bought the club with money they didn't have, and then put the debt onto the club basically. So a club, as Hen alluded to, a club that was never in debt for the previous 130 years or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Was in 500 million in the red overnight.
Yeah. I pose a question to you, right? There's obviously all these talks on Twitter at the moment of Arsenal being bought out by, I forget his name, the
Daniel
Spotify, Daniel
Spotify geezer.
Spotify owner. Do you think, obviously, we don't want to see Arsenal succeeding, but do you think him buying out Arsenal would benefit us in the run? Because Glazers aren't going to jump ship on their own. It's going to take others to jump ship first. Do you think if just playing devil's advocate, if Arsenal got bought out by him, do you think that might leave Glazers in a position where they might think, maybe I should be gone as well?
No, I think they're too stubborn for that. I don't think they'll
Maybe.
look at other situations, and I think they'll just put their foot down and say, we're still making a good amount of money out of this, still pocketing the dividends and whatever else, and we can ignore all the noise. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, true, very true.
That's the thing, because I think it is only out of the 6 clubs that broke away for the Super League. I think it is only Man United and
Liverpool and Arsenal.
I mean, that would really go for their owners. Like realistically, I mean, Spurs aren't like Chelsea are getting money.
Spurs just hate Levy. They don't hate. They don't hate Enoch.
Some of them quite like Levy.
He's just put an 800 million stadium in. What is it? £1 billion stadium in?
Yeah, but if I was moving there from White Hart Lane, I don't think I'd like it.
I know, but you can't say you don't put money into the club.
Oh yeah, he does.
But that's the thing, and that's the issue of us. We don't get money in the club. Arsenal don't. I know Arsenal have the new stadium built, but apart from that, what else have they had? The stadium was built years ago.
Yeah.
In terms of Chelsea, why would you complain at Chelsea on it? Look at the money he's invested in.
Man City is the prime example.
The stat for me that blows my mind is the fact that City have put £1 billion into the club at the same time Man United have taken £1 billion out of their club.
Yeah.
That is ridiculous.
Yeah.
If you see your neighbours doing that, surely, as a businessman, you should sit up and think, our rivals are doing that, and they're gonna overtake us. Surely you'd want to put more money into it to try and. You said that, didn't you, on the train?
Yeah, no, you'd think so, wouldn't you? You'd think, if your morals in the right place, you'd think about the fans, you'd think about the club, the history, and you'd want to be competing at the top level. But it doesn't affect their income that much.
No,
So the prize money doesn't. If you're winning things, it doesn't massively.
No, they've
not
got the
worth
off the pitch perfect.
Yeah.
They had Woodward, who's a mastermind off the pitch. That's what I always said. I hated the bloke.
And then they threw him to the wolves as well.
I hated the bloke because he was terrible at recruitment and he was terrible on the pitch side. He knew nothing about football, but he could get you a sponsorship from absolutely anywhere. He was the Glazers' little puppet who could make them as much money as
We had more commercial partners than players, didn't we?
Exactly, yeah.
What was your reaction when Woodward went, by the way? What was your sort of thoughts?
I celebrated. I ran down the stairs and I was so happy.
Do you think do you think the Glazers have sort of chucked about and gone, look, you're gone, or do you think he's actually gone and resigned himself? Because obviously he's leaving at the end of the year.
He texted me when Woodward went, and when Woodward gone, wow, and I just went, haha, mate, he's like, shut up, you're taking the piss.
Yeah.
And then he was like, no, look, so I was like, oh wow, straight to the shop.
It was one of those things.
What time did we all get in that night? It was like 4 in the morning.
I was at home, but it's one of those things with Woodward, like you say, they threw him to the wolves. They made it as if he was like the puppet. He was the one communicating with UEFA, and and then it's all come out that UEFA's called him a snake.
By the way, there was no way that Woodward wasn't for it. By the way,
no,
like Gary Lineker coming out and defending him on Twitter all the time.
But the thing is, as Woodward's position, it's your job to make Man United more money. I know it's not what the fans want, but it's your job to make Man United more money as as the Glazers puppet to do so. So in his cause, I can see why he wanted to put United forward to the Super League because it's going to make them more money. But at the end of the day, the fans have proven, even after the Super League, why we're the most powerful thing in football, not the owners. The fact, which is why I put forward to you two. Do you think the 50+1 ownership going forward is a step in the right direction, and do you think it'll ever come to fruition and ever happen?
I think it is a step in the right direction, definitely, because it just gives that just a bit more sort of power and that to the fans.
Definitely.
Really.
Yeah.
I don't know the ins and outs of 50+1. I don't know
Details.
loads about it. No.
Do you think it will happen?
I'm not sure. I don't know. I feel like if the Super League was still maybe intact, I think the government would have pushed a bit harder.
It'd have to be through government legislation.
The owners themselves are not going to go, come on in and then go on.
Well, that was what made me laugh about Joel Glazer's letter when he said, "Oh yeah, I'll allow the fans and like MUST, the Supporters Trust, to buy the shares in the club." So, how generous of you, Joel, that you're going to allow us to buy shares that have no say and no voting rights?
Nothing, exactly.
Not Joel Hook, by the way.
But it's...
I felt bad replying to your tweet with that because I was thinking it's obviously quite a serious subject they're on about. And I thought,
just context, we have got a mate on our course called Joel,
Joel,
which is why when referred to Joel, we always think we refer to Joel Hook.
Not Joel Hook out. But
Joel Glazer.
That one's up.
I was going to say, that could be the next trend.
But yeah, the 50+1 were focused. When obviously all the Spotify came up, we'll go back to Arsenal. When the whole Spotify thing came out, I remember him saying, what was the tweet he put out that was spiked?
As an Arsenal fan for however many years.
And someone retweeted it and put, but would you be willing to have 49% of the ownership? And he wouldn't.
Yeah,
because as an
nice.
ownership, as a business sense, it doesn't make sense.
No.
As the control freaks they are.
Yeah.
But
the
everyone
dominance they want,
forgets.
they're not going to want 49%.
Everyone forgets what the actual 50+1 rule
It's
is.
50+1.
It's one. No, it's not one share. It's one vote. So one decision making. So it's designed to stop. It's not 51% ownership. It's 51% say.
Decision.
So you wouldn't take 51% of the profits. You'd have 51. So nothing could happen.
Your random fans just getting like
The guy through the camera.
When I first
sitting on it.
It basically means though that nothing could happen and made
Without
your
your
decision
say.
without our say.
I
So
was going to say, that's what when I first saw 50+1 rule, I thought, where are the fans going to get all the money from? And how are they going to decide who they want to buy? But obviously they're not going to be running.
it's not ownership.
No,
It's
they get to choose who they want to go buy.
Not so much that I know, man.
Feel like career
Football
mode.
manager, wouldn't it?
They feel like career mode.
It's scouting.
It's not so much the 50+1 like ownership, like we said. It's the fact that you float the club like a business on the on the stocks, isn't it? That's how it works. And so then obviously that would massively benefit United. United would be huge, like massive, because you think about how much money we make, like we've alluded to before, how much money we make, and if you were to float that like a business and have that money be able to be reinvested each and every year, we'd be able to invest £100 million more than other clubs in the Premier League every year. It's one of it's the money we make would be to spend. In terms of moving forward, then lads, where do you think we go? Because I know I've asked you before what's next, but in terms of a club, if we were to carry on with Joel Glazer in the charge, which I think we end up with, as much as we hate it. You said, didn't you, last night, that if it gets called off Thursday, there's a massive chance that he was.
Yeah.
And I agree with you, because he wouldn't write that letter if he wasn't worried. That's the thing.
That's the only reason why I did write the letter.
Yeah, because he's worried. Yeah, and so
No, sorry, I say he wrote the letter. I'm convinced he didn't write it, and he may not have even read it. In fairness,
Yeah, but
Can you imagine? It just stinks, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's awful.
So bad
It's
that they have no proper.
it's like they're committed to fan engagement. About 2 days, the Avram Glazer refused to say anything to that Sky News reporter.
That was that video. Yeah, let's talk about that video.
He's definitely seen that banner that was at Old Trafford the other day, hasn't he?
Well, oh yeah, John. Yeah.
About a certain person's island, if you've not seen it.
Avram Glazer went to someone's island. But yeah, anyway, yeah. So in terms of that video, we'll talk about that video for a bit. I think you've both seen it. For those who haven't seen it, basically an American reporter followed Avram Glazer out of. I think he went shopping, didn't he?
Yeah,
he was shopping
back to his car.
And he was going back to his car, and may I say, it was brilliant journalism.
Class report.
Really good reporting. She went up to him and asked him, "Have you got any comment for the Man United fans? Are you going to sell the club?
Other fans, customers
to you?" And he didn't say nothing. He just
word.
carried on walking. And for me, I know you made your views clear on Twitter, Cowling, but for me, that showed signs again. He's rattled and he's worried because if he wasn't, he'd come out and speak. And I know he's not one that really he's not the one that really deals with the club side of it. It's more Joel, isn't it? He normally more deals with the side of it, but.
Well, Woodward does it for both
Yeah,
of them.
To play devil's advocate, is that just not like the standard response you'd expect anyway? Like,
No, but
the amount of people that get like, say if you're say
suppose.
if you're going to court or something, it's completely different. Say on like a trial or whatever, when you get harassed by journalists, they're like,
what every family says in Manchester. Say nothing when being interviewed.
yeah, exactly. It's like no comment. It's just like
proper with and sure.
yeah, exactly. It's like when you see people going to court or like are just harassed in the street and they don't reply, like when Dominic Cummings had that thing or whatever. They don't say anything. Is that not just like the standard?
But
can you read too much
even
into
the fans, other fans, customers to you shout. You could just say no.
No, I get what you mean.
But it's one of those ones where he doesn't, because if he says no, everyone goes, well, you're lying.
Yeah.
That's the thing, and so he even if he did come out and say no, some fans would be like, yeah, okay, fair enough. But a lot of them would be like,
I was gonna say, if he wants to come out and say no,
if we're not customers now,
how much would that like change what you think towards them? Like, it's not going to have a massive.
I know,
difference.
but it's just we just want to see
more the
bit of a human behind these people. Like, with John Henry, obviously we got. I just say reading it off the script and stuff, but you know that he's sort of there. Yeah. He reads it. You know that he.
I bet a lot of United fans don't even know what the Glazers look like.
Well, not until the other day.
This is the thing. That's where you think like us Leeds were like 10th in the Premier League compared to you second, but the difference in like. Not size, but like our owners, directors go to like every game. They're there with their masks on today, cheering the boys on. Yours don't go
you
to
won
any
today,
of the games. Yeah, no, you won today. Yeah. No, you want to get Spurs. Beautiful. Josh Bailey in the mud.
Oh yeah, shit. That's why he's not here. Actually, he's gone into hiding.
He actually refused to talk about football.
He's gone hiding. He's gone to hiding.
But no, it's like it just shows the difference because I turn up to every game. A lot of owners turn up to most games, but it's like yours, Liverpool's. Couldn't really.
Well, the last game they went to was the 2011 Champions League final.
That's ridiculous.
And they've been to Old Trafford once and had to leave in police vans.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
In 2006.
Yeah, he escorted out. Yeah.
I imagine owning something and literally not watching. I know they're all American.
They care about the NFL?
The Bucks, yeah.
They own. But again, you look at the money they've invested in the Bucks, and look what's happened. They've won the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
Tom Brady.
What man? Look what happens when you can invest money into a club.
That was my favourite banner. Somebody had John O'Shea, not Tampa Bay.
Yeah. But it's like, look what happens when you invest money into a club. They win the biggest prizes in sport.
Well, they bought Tom Brady and Gronkowski.
But it's insane, and you look at where we were, and like you say, we at this right at the start of podcast, Cowling, when we said, Fergie carried them for a lot of years. They relied heavily on Fergie.
But everyone forgets the whole reason why they're there in the first place is because of Fergie's greed.
Yeah.
And everyone just chooses to ignore that.
Yeah.
Because it's true.
Yeah. He was definitely involved in it, but I don't think you could have foreseen the way that the club's been ran and say that he's liable for that.
Oh, but he got greedy over horse. Yeah, he got Rock Gibraltar.
Horse, yeah.
So, for those who don't know the story, Sir Alex was offered as like a token gesture 50% stake in a champion racehorse called the Rock of Gibraltar, who basically won every race it ever took part in, and it was a 50% stake, and the other 50% was the wife of John Manier, who was like our big shareholder at the time, and they were planning to do like a full takeover of the club, like these two, Manier and
I forget what they're called.
I forget what everyone's called.
Yeah. Two Irish guys anyway, and they found out that this horse could like reproduce and have obviously breed more racehorses. And Fergie got greedy and wanted the stud rights to the horse, to which they fell out with John Manier and McManus, I think his name was. Fell out with him, and they sold up to the Glazers, and that's how the Glazers got their foot in the door because Ferguson got greedy, and then he hid behind when they weren't spending any money. He hid behind the no value in the market line in press conferences all the time. Do you remember when? When City first came in and started, he wouldn't sign.
January transfer deadline day.
He wouldn't sign Mesut Ozil one year because there was no value in the market, and I think we signed like Shinji Kagawa instead or somewhere. Nick Powell we signed instead.
From
value in the market.
Value in the market.
Value in the market.
Well, not what he's doing now.
Is he at Wigan?
Nick Powell's done well this season.
Is he at Wigan?
Doing well.
Wigan.
Yeah. Who's the other? Was it NFL? Do you say?
Yeah.
Who is it they have?
The Bucks.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah.
I was thinking for the last couple of minutes. I see it as if you ever play Monopoly. You play Monopoly, right?
Champion.
They've got what was it, Tampa Bay, whatever.
Yeah.
They are focusing heavily on like the pinks and the oranges. That they're focusing on massively. You're like the Browns.
Yeah.
They're like the ones they put money in them, but realistically, if they
sad,
went, sorry, I don't want to be.
Manchester United being compared to the old Kent Road.
It's a name you say it, the Whitechapel. So realistically, it's like.
Although we do make them money though.
Yeah.
So
They,
could you argue with
they
Mayfair?
bring in money, but do they really care
Invest,
too
no,
much?
true.
Well,
No,
have
it's
you-
just
I'd argue him on Mayfair because you don't put hotels on Mayfair because they're so expensive.
yeah.
But yeah, they
You
bring
got
you in more
balls if
money.
you put them on, mate.
Yeah,
You
but
have
they bring you in
balls
more
if you put
money.
them on.
So,
Have you ever heard the
Nah, you're
story of
only
Does that mean Leeds? What utility?
We're past going, mate. Just, you take it.
Have you ever heard the story about how they built the stadium for the Bucks, where it's just hosted the Super Bowl?
No.
They basically said that they'd move the Tampa Bay Bucks elsewhere if the council didn't like stump up. I think it was 50%. So basically, all the citizens of Tampa
Yeah.
were paying in a tax, like in their incomes,
To keep the stadium.
to build the stadium so they wouldn't move.
Can you imagine if the
Can you
Chelsea
see that?
United?
Yeah, I was gonna say, can you see that happening?
Never
at,
happen. Never.
at any.
It'd get burnt to the ground before they moved
Considering
United.
that's just happened at the weekend over, just the ownership itself. If it was to move stadium,
I'm
or
not sure it's
whatever.
legal now with the MK Dons Wimbledon thing. I think
No,
they
it's
outlawed
true,
it
yeah, I
afterwards.
think they did, yeah. But
Yeah.
looking forward then, boys. Obviously, we've got the protest on Thursday. We are all going on Thursday again.
I'm
Obviously,
not. But...
it's a peaceful, obviously, it's a peaceful protest.
Come on, come
We're not-
down.
I'm like, it's tempting, It's tempting.
We'll announce that you're a Leeds fan.
Yeah, this podcast going on Sunday.
Interesting. Obviously, to the many viewers of the US3 podcast, if I go down on Thursday, they'll see me and they'll be like,
I might become a permanent host of the US3 podcast if you get
you'll be
killed.
dead. Yeah, you'll be dead. You're like the Glazers, just taking on all the
hey,
podcasts.
when we were debating going
United District next.
when we were debating going to the Leeds ones, I wasn't going to do you out if you were going to go
true.
for Man United. So I made some.
Don't try and guilt trip me.
I can't really back Man United. It's for football, for morals. It's right, but just something against me that feels a bit. If I go down and start supporting,
Yeah,
it's
it's
a
true.
bit-
Yeah, it's true. Yeah,
So,
it's
yeah.
all United chances. Like,
Yeah.
Looking forward to obviously
Yeah.
Thursday. Like I said, we were all are going to. Well, not John, but us three are going to peacefully protest. What do you think the outcome of it's going to be? I know you've made your thoughts clear off air, Gorman. What do you think
I don't think they play.
Do you not think they're playing?
No.
No, not again.
What's the second best outcome to them not playing? Because obviously the best thing is they don't play.
Players sit
Is
down.
there anything you can take? I know you talked about a
Go
certain
on.
situation, but like when obviously they play and then it gets the lights
I-
or whatever. But like,
The best outcome for me is they start playing and then fans storm in again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good shout actually.
Yeah, I've been min.
oh.
That is
Yeah,
good
oh,
shout.
It'd be a spectacle.
Game
like
kicks
watching
off
that.
and then everyone.
Obviously, no harm to any of the.
Allison
Yeah,
down on
yeah,
floor.
yeah.
Bang.
After I've just said
We're
no
not
harm to the
condoning that,
players.
yeah.
Yeah, not at all.
No,
Bruno
that's not-
Fernandes kicks off and then Kev from Burnage storms on.
Yeah.
Fernando somehow gets a pen as Fernandes.
Yeah. But yeah, I think for me, yeah, like you said, the game doesn't play. I don't think it gets played. I have triple captain Bruno Fernandes in my fantasy team, but I am slightly regretting that because I think that game won't get played. But yeah, I think it don't get played.
Are you looking forward to Thursday, or do you think it'll be a bit more moody, or because?
The last one was fairly
Can
moody.
you see there being less people but more hardcore people?
Yeah,
Yeah.
precisely.
Or it being
The people,
yeah.
the nutters who were there, well, not the nutters, but the hardcores who were there last time, will be there again. Like they're not going to show. And obviously, there's all these talks about the big names coming to. Like I know Robbie Savage's brother. I think he said he's going, and I don't know who else.
Oh yeah, we're sure to get his autograph.
No, I don't mean like it's in big
Hey,
to get autograph. Yeah, well, Callum's going.
There'll be more people asking you for photos than Robbie Savage's brother.
No, us three. Yeah, us three podcasts. We saw the episode.
Actually, I was going to say, Calvin, what was it like going on TalkSport? Because you're on TalkSport too, weren't you, after the protests of the game? What was that like? How did they approach you? What was it like being on there as well?
Well, they were obviously playing down a certain way. You know, they wanted to focus on the perceived negative things that happened more so, and I was just trying to divert it away from that.
Obviously, we don't condone that, but it's
I would say I do condone maybe breaking into the stadium.
No, but not the violence.
First of all, they were let into the stadium the first time.
As I say, if you saw the
Clips,
picture of the guy with the gates
Yeah,
opening
let
that,
them
it's
in.
like a bit.
The second time they smashed the door in of the hospitality thing.
But do you think there's that much wrong with that? I think throwing bottles at police, maybe not, but breaking into the stadium.
I think everyone forgets that this is a stadium that was built by Manx.
Yeah.
And stolen by Yanks.
It is what you would call like your home or like church, isn't it?
It's ours, not theirs.
I was gonna say it's yours. That's the thing. So obviously, can you get done for trespassing?
Apparently, it's not illegal, according to a mate of
I
ours.
was gonna say, I heard that last night. I thought.
We won't name him.
Yeah, we won't name him in case it is illegal.
Because it is illegal and you decide to go Thursday on the pitch.
But, yeah,
it's not illegal, policeman. What are you doing?
It's not illegal.
He's not.
We didn't go on the pitch personally, but we know people who have done, obviously, because we've seen it on Twitter and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's I think it's one of those things where, like you said, Tommy, built by Manx at stadium. It wasn't built by the Glazers. Yeah. If fair enough, if they built the new stadium, obviously knocked it down, which they said they were going to what did they say in the statement? What was the word they used? To
reinvigorate.
Reinvigorate.
It might have been. It sounds like that anyway.
Yeah, reinvigorate the stadium.
Word.
Yeah.
No,
it was to pretty much reinvest into the stadium.
Yeah.
But whether we'll see that, I don't know. So,
I was going to ask a question to all three of you, actually. I think I posed it to you last night, but if you could do it separately, there was obviously that guy who scored the overhead kick.
Yeah,
Superb limbs. If you could score one goal yourself, that's not the Rooney goal, on the pitch. If you were to
that's the United goal
on Thursday, United goal.
At Old Trafford.
You do it yourself, yeah. So on Thursday, you're obviously not going to, but on the pitch, you're on the pitch, and someone gives you a ball. What goal are you recreating?
We discussed it on the brain, didn't we?
Any specific celebration, potentially, anything like that? Any goal?
I'd have to do the Wayne Rooney one after the overhead kick, when you do that one.
Yeah.
Can't think of what goal. Maybe the Van Persie volley against Villa, we said, haven't we? But
tricky.
Hey, if you try to do that, your ACL's nappy.
Tricky to recreate.
Oh, well, I said...
yours would have to be a tap-in.
I feel bad saying it now. Ronaldo Portsmouth.
Yes,
easy peasy. Top bins, bang.
You've only got a certain amount of time before the police come and get you, so you've got to try and recreate it. You've got one shot.
Line up with the stance like that.
Police, get in the wall, man.
Just wait.
I'd do Rooney's volley against Newcastle.
Yes, brilliant goal.
Scores
his goal against Barca.
I'd have to start arguing. I'd start arguing with you and then turn around and just...
Yeah. Film it. That'd make a brilliant TikTok video, mate. Get me views.
Yeah.
So I was thinking on the Canton, I think it was Sunderland, wasn't it? A little dink to the back and then the celebrations.
Thoughts on Beckford? Anyone recreating Beckford?
No.
That one went down well.
Not a chance.
Nani versus Spurs.
To be fair, with my finishing ability gone down the drain in the last few years, I might be more likely to recreate Beckford.
Beckford, little knee slide.
Yeah.
Just dribbles into the corner.
We'd have to do a knee slide, wouldn't we? We'd have to do a knee slide.
After mine on Encliff Green the other day.
Oh. Beautiful.
How long are we going for?
About 49 minutes.
Can we wrap it up then?
Yeah, can do. Anything else to say? Predictions for the future? Just sort of not going on the owners, but predictions for United, Europa League final. Where can you see finishing potentially next season? Anything? Any predictions for the future on the pitch? Keeping it more.
Depends on the summer, doesn't it? It depends if they do invest because they probably will to appease fans.
Yeah.
I said to you last night I could see us getting Ronaldo in. I know it's not a signing that realistically.
I wouldn't want him.
But if you think about it,
you don't take back an ex-missus that cheated on you, do you?
Well, yeah. But
I mean, you might, but
that's
up to you.
That's a different episode. But no, the thing is with Ronaldo, right? It makes sense from the Glazers because if you're thinking as a Glazers point of view, you're going to sign him for what, 25, 30 million because he's, obviously, I think Juve want rid, don't they? That's right. And obviously you're going to pay him big wages. But you're going to get that £30 million back in shirt sales.
It's not that simple, though, is it? Because it goes through Adidas and stuff like that.
True.
I get your point. Obviously, Ronaldo, the marketability of him is unbelievable.
I'd have him back for the Viva Ronaldo song.
Yeah, in terms of the summer, who do you think they will sign to appease the fans?
Sancho. I think
it'll be Sancho or Kane. It'll be one of the two.
Is Milo Sarr from Watford?
Ben Foster in goal for the vlogs. Go on, Ismail, a little bit.
Bring Ben Foster back.
Bring Ben Foster back.
So obviously you're
give him Lee Grant's job.
Yeah. On the bottom.
This one's with his GoPro.
Yeah. Obviously we've got the Europa League fan as well.
Yeah, predictions.
We'll win that.
I think it'll be tough. I think it'll be tough.
Villarreal, Unai Emery knows what to do in the Europa League.
He does. It'll be a tough game, but you think we'd have too much fun, wouldn't you? You'd think. They're obviously a better team. Oh, battery's running low on the computer.
Don't worry, it's fine. We've got time.
Battery's running low. But yes, so thank you for coming on, lads. Again,
No worries,
biggest
Thanks for having us.
biggest collaboration in Sheffield history. I think I said before.
We'll leave both your podcasts in
Yeah,
the
we will. Yeah,
description
yeah,
for
and
the,
the socials as well.
No worries.
Socials as well.
I mean, we're massive anyway, but
you don't need
We don't need
Yes.
but I'll have it anyway.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
So thank you all for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't already. And thank you and goodbye.
Nice one.